everyone. Recently in the world, people are losing trust in society, trust in themselves, and even God. I have found myself in a very difficult situation where I'm constantly struggling mentally, and my issue is trust. I had this thought, why not analyze the Quran and find out things rather than just listening and reading? I hope this can inspire other people that are in similar positions of me, where they are losing faith in themselves, in Allah, and and find surahs that can be benefit to them. Today's theme is trust, the most important thing to ourselves, to our families, and to society. There are 39 surahs that mention the word trust and 83 ayahs. This means a little over a third of the Quran mentions trust, just the word trust. And when you break them down by where they were revealed, you see that 25 were revealed in Mecca and 14 in Medina. The Quran tells us how trust is fundamental. In the Quran, more than a third of the Quran mentions trust. This shows Quran is built on trust. On average, the Quran mentions trust about 2.13%, and we see across these ayahs that trust is more than just belief and reliance. It is much more. It is responsibility. You can see that there are more Meccan surahs that mention trust than Medinan surahs. This was because Mecca was where Islam first came to be. It is where the Quran was revealed, and therefore belief was an essential part. However, in Medina, where 14 surahs were mentioned, they talk about developing an Islamic community with rulings and regulations where trust was needed to create a righteous society. You can see the top 5 surahs that mention trust by count. They include the poets, the family of Imran, the stories of Hud alayhi salam and Joseph alayhi salam. They have their own benefits, and we could do an in-depth study on them. However, there are surahs that have more ayahs about trust in proportion. The most trust-dense surahs are revealed in Medina, and this is because when the Muslims had started to build communities and becoming more stronger, this would mean trust in Allah and the Muslim Ummah had not only been established but needed to deepen. If you look at some of these include the most serious topics in society, such as divorce and she is to be examined, and the spoils of war. These surahs over here show infinite wisdom and how Allah is fair. Some of my favorite ayahs that I would like to talk about on the spoils of war is Ayah 2, the believers are the mu'min, and when Allah is mentioned, their hearts become fearful, and when His verses are recited to them, they increase them in faith, and upon their Lord they rely. A believer is a mu'min, someone who is in the second level of Iman. When a believer has fear, it's a sign of belief. And when Allah's verses are recited, it increases them in faith. Why? Because the believer knows that is aware of Allah's majesty. They know Allah's power and Allah's quality. They are truly aware of Allah. They don't need to see Allah to know His majesty. And their faith increases when verses have come because they are witnessing miracles, because they know that Allah's word is a promise, it's a verdict, they're not questioning it. And from Surah Joseph, Ayah 6, and so will your Lord choose you, O Joseph, and teach you the interpretation of dreams, and perfect his favor upon you and the descendants of Jacob, just he once perfected it upon your forefathers, Abraham and Isaac. Surely your Lord is all-knowing and all-wise. From my perspective, it's saying Allah will choose Joseph, peace be upon him, and teach him the interpretation of narrative. But if you look at it, it said, will your Lord choose you? This means that this is up to Allah whether Allah chooses, but also means it's in the future. Because though Joseph, peace be upon him, had this dream, it still does not mean he is chosen yet. This is also a favor and a blessing that Allah is giving, and one should be grateful, not prideful. This again talks about the prophetic lineage of Joseph alayhi salam, and is saying that Allah knows best and is wise. Why did Allah use knowing and wise? Because he is talking about the future and the past, and Allah knows both. Um, Again, this is from my data set. I got the Quran as a data set and I made a dashboard, and everything is from my opinion. Well, I don't want to say opinion because it agrees with tafsir and stuff, but this is from how I'm interpreting it word by word. And when I am reading them and seeing these things, seeing these, well, seeing these, reading these ayahs, I kind of feel at ease because I know that Allah is good. Allah is all knowing. He knows he knows the past, present, future, and he knows that he can take care of us and he won't burden us with more than what we can bear, especially in Surah Joseph, because Yusuf alayhi salam, he went through so much trials and tribulations. He was in prison for 7 years, um, and he came out on top, which was he became, I think, a vizier. He forgave his family. He was reunited with his father, and he also gained prophethood. In the spoils of war, you see that Allah is saying to the people that there is reward. Have less attachment to your family. Well, kind of, but not. I don't want to say anything that's wrong, but it's from my interpretation. But it's trying to strengthen your faith because he's saying that there's reward. Like, listen to this. This is how it should be done. Um, and everything. Oh my goodness, I'm really bad at this, and this is my first video, so forgive me. But I want to do more research. I have more things to say. Um, I have more notes, and if you are interested, please subscribe and follow me and like this video.